Welcome to Sadaaqa, the show that celebrates and documents India-Kuwait relationship by highlighting individual experiences. Now, our show this month celebrates the International Day of Yoga, and so our guest is someone whose life and work is intrinsically connected with the study and practice of yoga. Now, Sheikha A.J. Al-Sabah is the founder of Dar Atma, a yoga and wellness studio in Kuwait. Dar Atma, the phrase by itself, is a celebration of a coming together or the confluence of two ancient cultures. Dar means, in Arabic, means home, and Atma means soul, and this is the home of the soul. And Anis and I, whenever I come into this space at Dar Atma, it's a beautiful, positive feeling. It's something positive that kind of overtakes you and you kind of leave all the negativity outside. So Sheikha A.J. Al-Sabah is a very private individual, and it's very difficult to pin her down. And so I am so very, very honored and privileged that she has agreed to speak to us. Sheikha has spent a lot of time in India deepening her knowledge of the practice, and I'm so looking forward to finding out more about her journey with yoga. Welcome to Sadaaqa, Sheikha. It's really such an honor to have you on the show.
And thank you for your patience and for your persistence and for asking me.
How long have you done this? How long? Almost a year.
I really enjoyed the podcast with you, the radio show.
It was great.
So, and I can't say no to you, Chaitanya.
Thank you so much.
You're such a sweetheart, and your passion for your work and for this connection between India and Kuwait is very special to you, and it's contagious.
Yes. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Now, I know that you do visit India on sometimes, or maybe on a regular basis. And you are a part of various yoga retreats. Am I right?
So I go to India for my own personal reasons.
Okay.
I don't go on yoga retreats.
Oh, you
but
don't?
I
Okay.
do go to visit my yoga teachers and friends in Dharamshala, and I do travel for my own personal, leisure.
Okay.
I love India.
Okay. What is it about India that you like?
There is a lot of history between Kuwait and India.
Yeah.
And before yoga, I used to go for shopping.
Okay, you went to Bombay for shopping.
Yes, of course.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Everybody
I speak to,
and we have friends there
yes,
as well,
I know.
it's just part of life. India
Yeah.
and Kuwait has always been, as you said, so intrinsically connected.
Connected, absolutely.
Yeah,
through
so,
trade, through people,
and
cultures.
And for me, when I go to do yoga or when I go for Ayurveda, I like to do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to go as part of a group. For me, it's a very private,
In a personal journey.
personal, spiritual
Yeah.
journey.
Okay.
And just connecting with the culture, connecting with the people there. When you're traveling in the group, you kind of tend to socialize within the group.
That's right. And I think your itinerary is kind of laid down. You go here and you do this and you do that.
For me,
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time in nature, especially where I go in Dharamshala.
How is it? I mean, I've not been to Dharamshala, so it's very beautiful, right?
So I go to a place called Upper Dharamkot,
Okay.
which is further north from McLeod Ganj, where the Dalai Lama lives.
Yes.
And there it's just up in the mountain. You're surrounded by forest. And it's just wild and free, but in a very gentle way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not harsh.
Very nurturing.
It's very nurturing.
It's not it's harsh in the sense that you have to acclimatize, but it's very gentle.
I understand what you're
So
saying.
this is what I enjoy. There are other places where you can go up in the mountains, but it's extreme. So it's not so extreme, but it's not so soft as well.
Okay.
You know, it's a nice balance for me.
Yeah.
So
Do
I
you
enjoy
do a
it.
lot of? Do you do some backpacking there?
Yeah, my first experience in backpacking was in Upper Dharamkot.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I hope it was a good experience.
First time, no.
Then you learned how to navigate.
The first time I didn't know what I was getting myself
Yeah.
into, honestly.
Yeah.
But after I went, I just fell in love. There was something that kept me going back, and I used to go back every year up until 2017.
Okay.
And then I got busy with Dar Atma, with work, my children, and and then COVID happened, and that
That's
kind
right.
of put a stop to things. So I'm very happy that we got to go back. I'm very happy that we got to go back.
That's
Recently.
Recently you were there.
In April, yes.
Okay.
End of April for Eid.
Okay, what is it? Tell us about food. I mean, how do you like food there when you go? Do you try? Do you experiment?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Kerala. I've had, Malayalam cuisine.
Oh, you've had Malayalam cuisine, okay.
And I've also, each part of India has its own unique food dishes.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Not too spicy for you, huh?
Well, we ask them to make it less spicy.
Okay.
But if it's not, then we go native.
Okay. Please tell us about your collaboration with the Kashmir Shaivism School of Yoga. What does this particular school, how does it make it different from other schools of yoga?
So the Kashmir Shaivism School of Yoga is based in Upper Dharamkot, and they're the first ones I did yoga with. They're both, the lead teachers are Iyengar Yoga certified. So I learned how to do yoga with the ropes, to stay in the asanas longer, to focus on alignment. I felt it was a heart-centered school. There was also a connection on a personal level. And I just enjoyed practicing yoga with them. And that's how the collaboration started here.
So that's when you decided that you're going to get a branch of that school, open it here, yani use that school of yoga.
It's not a branch.
Training. It's not a branch.
No.
Yeah, that's a wrong word to use. But your learnings from that school of yoga, you're going to use it here in Dar Atma.
Yes, because they come here every year. They do teacher trainings.
Okay.
And
they
they train teachers. So a lot of the teachers here in Kuwait have graduated from them. It's a collaboration.
Okay. And so they get certificates from there when they...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Dar Atma is not the first yoga space in Kuwait, but it is the first licensed education space, yoga education space.
So yoga has existed in Kuwait since the 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Now you have to tell us about that.
No, but it's always been around. But people do it privately. People do it in their own, homes, in rental spaces of hotels. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that yoga has been here since the 1960s?
Yes, it's always been around. I mean, people practiced it privately in their homes, in hotels. They'd offer it in clubs. My grandfather, God rest his soul, Sheikh Jabir al-Sabah, he used to practice yoga and he used to do also homeopathy and alternative practices.
So
my father, growing up,
Yeah.
my father, Sheikh Ali, used to have quotes, about karma, in his office, and I'd go as a child and read them. So I think it's always been there, but it was never licensed or out in the open because yoga is a very private practice.
Yeah, I agree with you, yes.
It's
a journey.
It's a journey, and you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it because you're doing it to show off or you want to be part of a community. You're doing it because it's something to nourish you from inside,
yes.
So it's always been around. It's not something secret or someone hides it. It's just because that's the nature.
That's the nature. I recently, the Egyptian ambassador's wife is a friend, and she is a certified yoga teacher.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and she told me that it's a huge thing in Cairo. I said,
yes,
oh, wow.
that's so true.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
She says, yes, I do a lot of, she teaches there.
Yeah.
And she was talking about her own experience with the journey. So is the Italian ambassador's wife. So I said, wow, she's Italian, Egyptian, and here we are. It's actually a way of staying well, right? It's a practice of
internationally
International Yoga Day. Okay, tell us about Dar Atma, how it kind of, as I said, brings together, synergizes two cultures.
So when I went the first time in 2013 to Upper Dharamkot, and I practiced that kind of yoga with Amit and Lina, my teachers, and I just enjoyed it so much. Like, my system, my body was telling me, yes, this is the kind of yoga that you need. I came back, nobody taught yoga on the ropes, Iyengar yoga. So I asked them to come here and teach me so that I may learn how to nourish myself. And that's how it started. This is how it came about. And when I finished my teacher training with them, I was like, okay, do I close the place down or let me spread this? Because it nourished me and I want to help
Spread that
others, you
happiness,
know?
yes.
Once you help yourself, you can help others.
That's right. Yes.
And I started looking into how to license it, and I discovered that there wasn't such a thing as a yoga license in Kuwait.
I see.
So I went about applying at the Ministry of Commerce the paperwork to start this new commercial activity in Kuwait.
That must have been quite
It
a
was.
journey.
I was very diligent and persistent, just like yourself, Chaitali.
You got it done.
Yeah.
But tell me, I mean, but your initial relationship, let's say
Yeah.
it, with yoga was it as smooth or
No
was
way.
it difficult? When was that happening before you?
2001.
Okay.
I had just had my second son,
Okay.
Mubarak, and he was around 4 months, 6 months old. Which, by the way, for pregnant ladies out there, please do not rush your bodies back into exercise. Wait at least 6 months, 4 to 6 months to do any kind of yoga. Because even though on the surface we may look fine, but there are internal changes that require longer periods of
Okay.
time after delivery. Just saying that out there.
I know it's better, yes.
So yeah, my son was around 4 to 6 months old, and I had done yoga, and I didn't enjoy it. I mean, it was very disheartening because I couldn't do the poses. I was still very weak, and I was upset. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't like the teacher very much. But something inside of me said, yes, there's more to it. Let me try other teachers. Let me try different styles. And I kept at it on and off, on and off. And eventually, I did find my way.
It took you some time.
A long time, but I didn't give up.
You didn't give up.
No.
She didn't give up. And I think that goes for me as well, actually.
No, I think you don't give up because you realize that there are depths to any
Yeah,
relationship.
That's right. Yes.
Whether it's your relationship with yourself, with others, with your yoga practice, you know, there are many different levels. So you take what you need as you need it.
I understand.
You can't force things. You
Yeah.
have to be gentle and kind to yourself.
So then Dar Atma happened sometime in 2014.
December 4th, 2014 was when we got our license. And when they asked me for the name, I decided that I didn't want something purely Sanskrit and I didn't want something purely Arabic. So I wanted to combine my tradition of, you know, the Quran, the spiritual language of the Quran is Arabic.
Yeah.
And that's my own spiritual
That's
tradition.
right. Yes.
And the only way to grow is to ground and root yourself where you are.
Exactly.
You can't overextend yourself to something you're not. You can't appropriate a different culture.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
So, and then Atma, which means soul in Sanskrit, or Atman, and I decided to combine both to create a new word that didn't have any kind of energy signature, people didn't know what it was, because we still don't know.
Yes.
You know,
we are still.
we wanted to start something new, and this is why I came out with this name. It was a bit difficult in the beginning because nobody knew what it meant.
Yeah.
But
I think it's picked up. It's kind of caught.
Alhamdulillah,
imagination.
alhamdulillah. I think people now associate it with the space, with feeling good, with yoga, with healing. You know, we offer other healing sessions here as well. So, alhamdulillah, inshallah, it's a light into the community as I had intended it to be.
Absolutely. It's like a, what should I say? I am, and it's a personal experience that when I come into Dar Atma, it's like I am enveloped in positivity. I feel the same thing when I go to a very different space. It's not a yoga studio. It's Zeri. I don't know whether you visited
Zeri
Zeri.
Crafts, yes.
I feel the same way, and I feel the same way when I go to Sadhu House. So you know, it's how the positive energy of these places,
Amazing.
you know, kind of envelop and embrace you. So now this is so that was no mean feat to kind of get a license for a yoga studio and to open it in 2014. And you have said that yoga is for everyone. What do you mean by that?
So when we say yoga, we usually associate it with the physical asana practice. But yoga is more than that. There's many different types of yoga. Yoga is about connecting your mind, your body, your breath. So sometimes yoga means sitting still and contemplating life. Maybe yoga means sitting still and meditating. Maybe yoga is movement. Maybe yoga is dance. Maybe yoga is whatever it means to you.
It's a philosophy, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's so I believe, and what I have seen is that there's always yoga in each and every culture of the world.
So what do you do here at the Dar Atma? Do you only teach the physical aspect of yoga, the physical practice?
So we teach yoga asanas. We have different styles of yoga that we teach. We also teach meditation, breath work. We do also healing sessions, workshops, classes, trainings.
So it's full packed. The program is like...
We offer many different classes. We offer many different services because people are different.
That's
and
right. With different
each
needs.
person needs something
That's
different.
Right. Yeah.
You can't say, oh, just take this kind of class or that kind of class. We're all unique.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now, the first time I met you, and I had to ask you this question, that the first time I met you, and because I had read about Patanjali when I was like in university, and you mentioned the Yoga Sutras to me, the sutras which have been like written 2,000 years ago, and it's considered a cornerstone for summarizing what yoga is all about. So, I mean, just tell us about what did you learn when you studied or when you heard of the Yoga Sutras? What did you take from it?
My takeaway is that all books of wisdom are more or less the same. And that they all advocate that we are the best versions of our
ourselves.
human selves.
Yeah.
You know, and I discovered that to be surrounded by these books, to read these books, these not books of wisdom, let's say, and holy books, which is two different things.
Yeah, two different things.
Yeah,
yes.
but all of them will help you along your way, you know?
Yeah,
Whichever
right.
tradition you come from.
Yes.
Embrace it fully.
And there is no harm in learning and empowering yourself with learning about other cultures or about other knowledge, you know, which perhaps can help you in self-actualization.
Of course. I mean, when they say, oh, yoga, or for me, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to learn English. I'm only going to speak Arabic.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to run, or I'm not going to work out because that's not part of my tradition. Or I'm not going to eat this food because that's not what I grew up on. No, you take what you need as you need it.
Yeah.
You know, and you and maybe your body needs something now. Maybe it needs something different later. Maybe your mind needs something now. Maybe it needs something later. You know.
Yeah, we need
but
different things.
It doesn't mean that you forget your roots. It just means that you are open to the possibilities, so that you may self-actualize, so that you may self-evolve.
Yeah, knowing is growing. Yeah.
Unlock whatever's inside of us, you know. We are vast universes inside.
Absolutely.
Why limit ourselves?
Yeah, why limit ourselves? Why limit the realms of human knowledge, right?
I mean, education, you don't say, I'm only going to learn this kind of thing because this is what I know. No, you open your mind to, you know, the universe. It's huge.
So since I mentioned that the Patanjali wrote the Yoga Sutras thousands of years back, how relevant? It's a practice that is like so old. How relevant
Still
is
relevant
it in today's
always
world? Yeah.
Because, you know, being on your best behavior, treating others with respect, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, nurturing and cultivating the stillness within. There's no time, there's no date expiration on that.
There's no expiry date for that.
There's no date expiration.
Yeah, and I feel perhaps things have become so complicated now, it's even more relevant, you know?
Because I think we get caught up in the mind,
Yes.
and life is fast, and and we're just running around and we're trying to be perfect, but there's no such thing, and we forget that we are already perfect because God does not create anything less than perfection.
That's very nicely said.
Yeah, we tend to forget.
Sheikha, while before we went in for our shooting, I did say that we have a couple of corporate sponsors who have been a part of our journey. It's difficult to do a creative initiative like this, which is now, thankfully, is in its second season.
MashaAllah.
Yes, thank you very much. And without corporate sponsorship, it's really very difficult. So our Al Mulla Exchange is one of our very valued partners. Al Mulla is one of the largest, and I'm sure you've heard of Al Mulla Exchange.
Of course.
Yes, they are one of the largest money exchange and remittance companies in Kuwait, very fast growing. And I've been using them, I think, since the time they started, which is more than 10 years. And I have my children in different parts of the world and find it very easy to send money through Al Mulla Exchange. And what I like about them, and the reason I've stayed with them, is the people behind, the people behind the service. They're like people, very people-centric. Any time of the day, night or day you want them, they are there to help you out. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
On behalf
Thank
of our
you,
partners.
Chaitali. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back after the break. We are speaking to Sheikha AJ Al Sabah, and we are celebrating the International Day of Yoga here on Sadaaqa. So, Sheikha, what does AJ Al Sabah stand for?
AJ stands for my father's initials, Sheikha Ali Jabir Al Sabah.
Ali Jabir Al Sabah. So
yes.
Now I have my answer now. So I want to ask you something, Sheikha, which has been troubling me for some time.
Okay.
And we know that practicing yoga means connecting to your own personal inner energy. There is no mention whatsoever, and I think I've reiterated also in the articles that I've written for Arab Times, there is no mention whatsoever of any particular religion, any spiritual domain, or any particular god. And do you agree with that? There's no connection, and it's a personal journey, it's a personal practice towards wellness.
For me, that's what yoga is.
Mm-hmm.
When I first did yoga, and each person is different,
mm-hmm.
and each person's journey is different. When I did yoga, I felt that it was like a tall glass of water on a thirsty day.
What a lovely way to put it.
So I felt my thirst was quenched, like my body. It felt really good in my body, and that's why I decided to pursue it, just for the health benefits.
Yeah.
And as we grow older, we want to stay younger in our minds, we want to stay younger in our bodies, so that we may live a full life,
mm-hmm.
not restricted by health. And this is the
That's
pursuit, yeah. So when people make it into a religion, or maybe for them, but for me it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I advocate
mm-hmm.
here in Dar Atma,
mm-hmm.
that we're doing this so that we can be the best versions of ourselves, so that we may live long, healthy lives, so that we are grateful for the blessings in our life and for our bodies, and keep our bodies supple and flexible as we grow older.
Yes, very, very well said. So when is it that, I know that you said it took some time for you to start to enjoy your journey with yoga.
Yes.
When you became comfortable, and then you went to Dharamkot to do your first course, right, with the Shehbaz.
I actually asked them to come here, and they did the first teacher training here in Kuwait.
So,
however, I did my prenatal teacher training with them in Upper Dharamkot.
Prenatal?
Mm-hmm. Prenatal, postnatal, which deals with women's health, with pregnancy, childbirth, post-childbirth. What does a woman do, when she's after she delivers a baby? So it's quite scientific,
mm-hmm.
the whole study of yoga. Just like Ayurveda, there's a science behind it. There is a practical use for it. It's not just something like a concept or an idea.
Yeah,
When
very
people say,
practical.
oh, what does yoga feel like? I'm like, I can't tell you. You have to do it to know it.
And to feel the benefits.
You have to practice it and see how you feel. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe a different form of exercise or a different path is more suitable. As I mentioned earlier, we're all unique.
That's right. So, but when is it that you decided that you wanted to become a teacher?
When I wanted to help myself, when I wanted to practice this form of yoga that I didn't feel was available here in Kuwait.
Okay.
And for me, to practice something, I need to develop a relationship with it on many different levels.
Okay.
So I needed to understand with my mind. I needed to practice with my body. I needed to go into the science, the anatomy of it, the physiology of it. Not just to practice classes. I wanted to understand everything and feel it all,
And that's what you do. I mean, you go on taking classes. I think you still
You
learn.
continue, of course. The more I know, the less I know.
That's right, yes.
It's
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with another yoga teacher and a dear friend of mine this morning, and I was telling her, man, I feel like I know nothing because the more I find out, the more I practice, there's just so much more. It's like a drop in the ocean. As is with the knowledge of any science, anything,
actually,
Hey,
yes.
this universe is so vast.
Yeah, and there's so much. Yeah, to learn and to know and to grow. So, and then when you became a certified teacher, you decided that you wanted to open an organization or a setup which would not only teach yoga or spread awareness of it, but also prepare others to spread the word, right? You teach yoga teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I felt we live in a very stressful life, a very stressful world right now. It's, very fast paced. There's a lot of tension. In our part of the world as well, the heat kind of adds to that with the summer. So I felt that yoga was helping me cope with these stresses, and I wanted to spread that. You help yourself and you help others. And one of our missions is to be a light onto the community and to help the yoga community in Kuwait grow so that they may help others as well.
That's right.
Each one of us has a unique voice. The people that Shaitali may appeal to are different than the people that Sheikha may appeal to. So we all have our unique audience,
Yes.
And the more teachers we have, the more they will speak to their own audiences.
And they will go on empowering others.
Empowering others in their own way,
So what is the vinyasa form of yoga?
So vinyasa is a movement-based yoga, which is like a string of asanas, one after the other, designed for different benefits, let's say. Whether you want to have a heart opening class, so you can sequence a vinyasa class according to that. And the actual vinyasa is when they jump back into chaturanga, and then they go into upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and then jump back in between their legs. So that actual movement is a vinyasa. And they do it in between each asana. So it's a kind of complicated. I made it into like a yoga.
I got a few things over there. I've also done yoga. So I got the Surya Namaskar there, right?
So it's Surya Namaskar is different from each tradition.
Yeah, you mentioned the downward dog.
Yeah, so it does have that. See, the thing is, for you, I can explain it all you want, but just come do it and see for yourself.
That's true. Okay, I get it. Yeah. So you do practice the vinyasa form of yoga.
I prefer more hatha yoga.
Hatha yoga.
And I prefer more restorative Iyengar yoga as well. Yes.
How is hatha different?
It's slower.
Slow.
It's more on the pose and holding it for longer, and then reflecting on the pose afterwards. So it's, for me, maybe where I am at now, this is what I enjoy. Previously, I did enjoy vinyasa, And I still do. It's more of a workout. I sweat when I do vinyasa, so maybe it's more heating. Maybe in the summer I like something a little bit more cooling.
Yes, I understand. But there's something also that I found out later, my ignorant me, that you can do yogas with props. So is that a part of Vinyasa yoga?
No. So props are usually, you have them in yin, you have them. The kind of props that I use are based on Iyengar yoga,
Okay.
which is the tradition brought about by BKS Iyengar.
Okay.
May he rest in peace. So he's the guru who started Iyengar yoga.
How is it different, Iyengar yoga?
So Iyengar is more about alignment.
Okay.
And they use yoga kurunta, which is like puppet yoga, they call it. And they use the ropes. So you maintain the pose for a longer period of time to reap the benefits on a deeper level through not the surface muscles, but the deeper fascia, the ligaments, the deeper muscles as well.
So that sounds really, something, if someone does that and practices it, I'm sure that the person is going to remain healthy,
It's very subtle, and I think older people kind of tend to go towards that because they see how it is more medicinal than it is, and preventative as well,
Yes.
rather than just an active form of yoga.
Okay. Now, what about meditation? Do you meditate?
Yes.
Yeah, and that is also a part of yoga, right? Meditating, of course, it's there in every culture.
Yes, right? Meditation,
holding
and contemplation, yeah. And I don't think you're holding thoughts, or you're just breathing and being present in the moment.
I see.
So meditation can be moving, meditation can be sitting, meditation can be silent. The ultimate meditation is when you transcend your thoughts and you just are.
Yeah.
And you are connected directly to source and the knowledge that is. And we all yearn for that, but there's guided meditations, there's visualizations.
I think that is so very important, right? Meditation, which can be so helpful to people, especially in a very stressful environment.
I think, for me, meditation is a necessity.
Okay.
Sitting and not thinking, because obviously thoughts will come, but observing those thoughts. This is important. Why should I fill up my day? Why should I fill up all my moments? Why don't I keep some empty?
Very difficult.
It is difficult because the mind is hungry and it's always active.
Yeah.
And they talk about the monkey mind.
Down, yes.
But why? It's not making me feel better. It's not helping my body. It's not helping those around me. So to slow down, to be empty, this space brings freshness, brings new things inside.
Yeah, it restores you. Yeah, okay, I get it. So many see yoga as a way to bridge the gap between the physical and the spiritual. Do you agree with that?
I think it doesn't bridge a gap. I think it just makes us realize that there is no gap and that we are one, and our bodies are a vehicle for our spirit to come through.
Again, beautifully said, Sheikha. So who are the people who come to Dara Atma? Is it open to everybody?
It's open to everyone, and anyone can come and do yoga. We keep our prices low so that it's accessible to all.
Okay.
Because again, this falls in line with our mission of being a light onto the community and helping others in the community. We have many different types of yoga. We have many different types of healing sessions. And I suggest that someone comes in and tries many different types, not to commit to just one until they find the one that's right for them, that they feel is the right one. And to keep things, changing, like don't say, oh, that's it, and I don't want to try anything else, because you don't know. Maybe in your 20s you need something different. In your 30s you need something different. Maybe your mental health or your emotional health allows you for a different type of class today than another, you know? So these all play a factor in what kind of yoga suits you and what kind of movement that you require in that day.
Do you think that that yoga can also help with emotional crisis?
For sure. For sure. You know.
And meditation plays a part in that, I suppose.
See, the thing is, I mean, each type, each person is different. So what might suit someone to sit and meditate might not be helpful for their mental and emotional state. Maybe someone else might need movement so that they tire the body and then they can go into meditation and rest. So each disposition requires a different type of, yoga or meditation or breath work. Sometimes we need to write down our thoughts, and journal.
Yeah. So it all helps, it all comes together.
It all helps, it all comes together, and the best thing, I think, is to know yourself. Because when you discover parts of yourself and you know yourself, you know what you need.
That's right. I think I think in today's world, because of the kind of running around that we do, knowing oneself has taken a backseat.
And
right?
how do you know yourself? By slowing down.
Yes.
By taking moments of emptiness and space throughout your day so that you can calm down and hear the voices inside of yourself instead of suppressing them or distracting yourself from them or trying to fill up your day so that you don't need to feel or you don't need to think or running away from your emotions. No, sit.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, actually. It does make a lot of sense. Now, this is one question that I want to ask you, and I've been wanting to ask you: how compatible is yoga with the Arab way of thinking?
First of all, when we say that, that means we are splitting something. Okay. There's a duality. There's no duality.
There is no duality. Okay.
There is no. I mean, we are all humans having a human experience. Staying healthy and staying sane are the same thing all over the world, regardless of what nationality, what religion, what background, which country. A good person is a good person wherever they are in the world.
Irrespective. Yeah. Yeah.
So there is no compatibility or Arab way of thinking. I mean, I am Arab.
That's right. Yeah.
I am Muslim. I relate to so many different people from so many different walks of life. Because I'm also human and they are human.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the heart is a heart. It doesn't know boundaries.
It doesn't know boundaries. Yes. So now we've almost reached the end of the show, and it's just wonderful how time has just gone so fast, because it's been such an enriching discussion that we've been having here. Looking at very, very different aspects of so many different things, just not yoga. So how do you see, I mean, since Sadaaqa is a show that celebrates India-Kuwait relationship, how do you see the relationship between these two countries? And you've gone to India, spent time here. Here you've interacted with so many Indians, including me. So how do you see the contribution of Indians who call this beautiful country their temporary home, this melting pot that is Kuwait? How do you see their contribution?
Enriching. I think it's a historic relationship. It's always been and always will be, intrinsic. I mean, our food is inspired or influenced by Indian cuisine as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Culturally, we are
when
actually
you're
very
asking
close.
me, what's my favorite Indian dish, I was like, sambusa. Is that like Arabic or no? That's not.
Yeah, sometimes the lines kind of blur.
Biryani. I'm like, biryani is Indian, but we make it here, but I vegetable biryani, not,
Oh, you are a vegetarian?
No, but I prefer.
You prefer that?
Yeah, I
okay.
prefer.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much for being on our show, but before we let you go, you have to answer some questions on Namaste India, which is a section sponsored by Mughal Mahal, which is a very leading chain of restaurants. I think you've heard of Mughal Mahal, Sheikha?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, Sheikha, this section is brought to brought to our audience by Mughal Mahal. I think you've heard of Mughal Mahal, as I said before we went into the break. Now, Mughal Mahal is a leading chain of restaurants. As you very rightly said in the beginning of the show, that India it's a big country. It's a subcontinent almost.
Yes.
And we have different cuisines in different parts of India, different types of food. I eat a different food. Anis, who is a Malayali, eats a different sort of food, but we are all united. It's the diversity, which is so engaging, which is so enriching about India. So this Mughal Mahal, what they've done is they have popularized the North Indian cuisine or the Mughal cuisine. The tandoori cuisine, which is so popular in different parts of the world. So I will ask you a few questions, and Mughal Mahal here, there are like cards. They've been very kind enough, and they've given us like 50 KD worth of gift vouchers, which you can use or you can give your friends, and they can use it in the many outlets that we have of Mughal Mahal around Kuwait. Now, if I were to ask you, Namaste India Sheikha, your favorite place in India, what would that be?
Upper Dharamkot.
Oh, thank God for that. Thank God she didn't say Bombay.
No, Upper Dharamkot. I love that place.
You like that.
Yeah.
Every Kuwaiti I've spoken to, starting with Sheikha Suad Al Sabah, who's
she
like
loves Bombay.
she loves. We
She
get
loves
into
Bombay.
fights because of that, because she's always about Bombay and I talk about Delhi, so yes.
Yeah.
So she likes Upper Dharamkot. And your favorite yoga posture?
Shavasana.
You like that, right? Shavasana?
Because I work so hard throughout the whole yoga class, and then at the end you just relax and you feel all the energies and you feel what you've done, and you nourish your body.
Can you just do the Shavasana?
No, I think we all want that, right? It's not the same.
It's not the same.
If you don't do it after a class. Yeah.
You need to do all of it and then
The
you,
Shavasana.
and then
That's
you
when
enjoy.
it's super sweet.
Yeah, the hard work is necessary. So something Indian you like to eat, which you mentioned.
Cheese samosa.
Seriously, cheese samosa.
I like cheese samosa. I know, it's so basic, right?
No. There's someone told me, I think it was Sheikha Suad, she said chapati.
Well, I was going to say dosa as well.
Oh, dosa, okay. Yeah, dosa is nice as well.
Yeah. There's so
samosa.
many.
There's so
but,
many, yes.
Yeah.
A Sanskrit word you know.
Namaste.
Namaste, okay. Namaste.
Because Namaste, India.
Namaste, okay. And the best thing that yoga has done for you?
I was going to say that yoga has really brought me to myself, but it's also done something very special for me in my heart and in my life. And I've met so many amazing people, so many beautiful souls through yoga, who are like, when they say soul family, the yoga teachers, the yoga community, my staff, it brings out the goodness in people. So I'm very grateful for that. Alhamdulillah.
Very, again, very nicely put. Now it's time for me to give you the cards from Mughal Mahal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. Don't miss the rasmalai. I particularly love the rasmalai. Have you ever eaten rasmalai?
No, but now I have to.
You have to. It's like cheese balls in like, what should I say? What do you call it, Anis? It's like cardamom and sweet.
Oh, nice.
And it's nice.
Okay.
I don't even want to go there because I am such a bad cook myself. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Sheikha. It was, it's like, it's been very empowering for me personally. There are certain things which I knew, but then you confirmed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaitali. I enjoyed myself. And thank you for having me on your show.
And all the best to Dharatma. I hope it goes on spreading the light of, the enlightenment, and it goes on empowering people, enriching people, and leading them on happier and a healthier journey.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.